Hey guys, it's Steve here, and today I'm going to answer a viewer question about how to learn difficult or high volume material in a short time frame. Now, this is something that can happen quite a bit as a working guitarist, and there's a reason why, and I'll explain in a minute. Typically, these gigs, quite frequently, are the sorts of gigs that open new doors in your career, new opportunities in terms of working avenues. Now, why is this? Well, because usually if you're getting a gig last minute, it's because something's gone wrong. The usual guy, their usual go-to guy, and we all have go-to people we work with, can't do it. Maybe he got sick, maybe he got busy, maybe another gig came up, who knows, maybe there was a falling out or some politics, and then he couldn't do it, and then the backup guy couldn't do it, and then his backup guy couldn't do it, and then you fall enough down 2 or 3 of the ladders, and then they run out of their usual guys, and it's open season. Okay, and people who aren't in their usual go-to list have an opportunity. Okay, so quite often, funnily enough, even though it would be nice if the gigs we could prepare for were the watershed, crucial turning point gigs, very often it's the gigs that come to us sort of, from the side, sort of blindside us, that are quite crucial and key. So it's good to have a strategy for these. Okay, so here's my strategy. The first thing I'll do is I will map out the time I have between when I get the gig and or the studio session, whatever it is, and when the thing is going to have to happen. Okay, sometimes it's overnight and you've just got 6 or 7 hours essentially in order to learn the stuff. In that case, worst case scenario in terms of timing, I'll map every single hour out. You might think, oh, that's pretty organized, but there's nothing like a bit of pressure. By pressure, I mean terror to really get you organized. So I'll literally write, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. on a piece of paper, and I'll write what I'm going to do, and I'll sign each hour. Okay, if I have a few more days, but it's still really hard material, then I'll look at each day and I'll break each day into morning, afternoon, evening, and I'll assign whatever chunk of that time I can. The key here is to get as many sleeps in as possible, which means you could do 8 hours on the day before the gig. Much better to split those 8 hours, for argument's sake, over say 2, 3, 4 days, rather than waiting and binging at the end. The more sleeps you get, the more chance your body has to metabolize technically difficult passages, the more chance your mind has to absorb and remember the material, because you're really training your memory not only when you put it in, it's the practicing of the recalling of the material that the sleeps helps you with. So as many sleeps as possible. In other words, start now. If you've got a lot of stuff to learn, start now. Even if it's just an hour or something, you can commit to it. Okay, the next thing I'll do, if it's a really technically difficult piece or it's a lot of volume piece, I'll zoom out and play the entire thing. So if it's a big show, for instance, a big musical show or something, with a big, thick pad of music, I'll read the whole show through. If it's a gig, I'll play the gig through as best I can. I don't know it yet, so I'll sort of play as best I can through it. Or if it's a technical piece, I'll play through it, more or less. And what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for those problem areas, okay? I'm looking for the bits that, this is going to trip me up. This is technically tricky. This bit's difficult to remember. This bit I'm going to need to run this a bunch to get this in my hand so I can really just perform it effortlessly. And so on. And then I have a pad of paper next to me and I'll make a note. I'll either do it by bar, bar 64 of track 3, or if it's written, or I'll time code it. Okay, that section at track 4, 3 minutes 30, better, and I'll make a little note of that. And then I'll have a list of, say, a dozen, 20, whatever, bits that are tricky. And then I'll zoom in and I'll run that list again and again and again, maybe take an hour, depending on what sort of stuff it is. If it's technical stuff, I'll play it slow again and again and again, waiting for my body, letting my body absorb the material. And I'll just go over that list again. Then I'll take a break, have a cup of tea. Then I'll come back, do the whole process again, read the whole show again, play the whole gig again. And this time, again, I'll be making notes. I don't usually cross anything off the list the first time round. I usually give it every item at least 2 cycles to make sure it's really in there. But I may add something, or I may downgrade something in importance, something that was VIP, very important, dangerous lick, could become now, I'm getting there. Okay, then having zoomed out, I'll zoom in again, run the list for an hour, and then have a cup of tea. Come back, read the show again, and now I may be able to start crossing some of those items off. Okay, so maybe I can read the show through again and again, run those items, and then I'll just run the show again and again and again, and maybe take a break, run the show twice, take a break, run the show twice, take a break, that sort of thing, and just really rinse the thing through my system again and again and again. By the end, I'll have still the top 4 or 5, maybe top 1 or 2 hardest bits, okay? I may know these now, I may be able to play these now, but I'll still keep them on a special list. And what do I do with that list? I'll use that stuff to warm up for the gig or the session. So say I'm right before the show, I'll use that really difficult lick very slowly as my warm-up, just to further refresh those neurotransmitters, give myself one last, rinse of the stuff before I have to go on there and do the gig for real, So I hope that answers your question. That is how I typically approach difficult or high volume of material on a deadline. Very important. Guys, share your experiences with this stuff if you've had it. And I'll be answering some more questions. There's a lot of backlog of comments. I know I've been gone for a while. So I'll be going through a lot of those questions and making videos like this, as well as coming back with some more tuition videos. So guys, I've been Steve. Thanks very much. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.